And this is why you do sound checks, people. There's no truck audio for no game audio for the entirety of this video because I forgot to change the sound settings. You're welcome. It's a great, I'm back, isn't it? No sound. Well, at least you can hear my crappy voice. Apparently this mic isn't the greatest either. Oh well, make do with what you got. Hello, my name is On Blast, but not for long. Don't forget that on February 3rd, the channel name will be changing to Whitetail. And all the associated branding will be changing as well, you know, logos and yada yada. Anyway, I am here, back in ATS after ages and ages, to, well, technically look at a couple things. Mostly I'm going to be looking at the current holiday event, which is the Christmas Wisegiving event. It's basically the same as last year, but with an added twist. And, you know, the more deliveries we get, the more rewards we get, stuff like that. And you can read all this here in-game, or I will also link the blog post in the description. There's also the Cruising Colorado event going on, but I'm not looking at that right now. The run I do today will be in the state of Colorado, though. I'm not going to make an actual video for Colorado because I suck at making videos for states, or for map updates in general. But I am going to be driving in Colorado in this video. And yeah, let's just get right on to it. So yeah, as you can see, each state has I'm pointing with my finger as if you could see it, has the heart and the sort of present. So the goal, last year, it just was stars. So if you took a load to or from a city, it would give it stars. This time, if you take it from a city, it gives the city a heart. If you take one to a city, it gives it a gift. So the goal is to get as many cities to be at 1,000 for both as possible. So Fort Collins, for example, is very close with both, so we're probably not going to be going there. Oh, and look at this. Denver's already gotten a heart. Could use some gifts, though. They've already gotten a gift. So yeah, that's basically how it goes. So I'm starting in Steamboat Springs. This is where my base is. Every time a new state comes out, I move my base to it. But I actually really like Steamboat Springs. It'll probably stay here for a while until we get closer to the East Coast. Or somewhere out in the Midwest. I don't know. Because the East Coast is where I live currently. The Midwest is where I want to live. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes based on what different towns look like in the future. But for now, Vernal's a short run. Vernal. Lots going to Vernal. Is Vernal good with... Surprisingly, considering how many loads I've seen going to Vernal, they don't have many gifts, which is interesting. Provo, no. Kind of want to stay in Colorado if I can help it. Is there one, like, going to... Well, Durango would be a good run, because that takes us down the $1 Million Highway, so let's do that one. Let's do that one. If my voice sounds different, by the way, I got a headset during my hiatus. That the mic is part of the headset, so I don't actually know exactly how it sounds yet, because this is my first time recording with it. Just get my track IR set, so this is about where I'm going to be driving. And it should be good. Ah, dang it. My accelerator's sticking again. Yeah, I get a lot of lag in certain parts of Colorado. I think just where there's a lot of scenery going on and the more built-up areas where there's a lot of traffic. I'm going to look into messing around with my computer, see if I can get it to run a little bit smoother, because the computer just runs slow in general right now. I'm going to see if I can do something about that. I just haven't had a chance to yet. Gotta love when you don't have a protected left turn and you got a big long line of traffic coming at you. And yeah, I know since they were all turning left, I technically could have gone, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like it was worth the risk to me. Because what if you go and then the next car isn't turning and they don't see you going, which is less common, less probable when you're driving a truck. But I nearly had it happen in real life once, so I stopped going when I could only see that the car directly in front of me was turning. Oh, horses. So yeah, a lot of stuff has gone on since the last time I recorded. There's, well, new trucks, new states, new trailers. I want to say there's even some new features, but there's been so much that I can't even remember. Oh, the sound has completely been updated. I assume that anyone watching this already knows all of this, because a lot of it's happened a while ago at this point. But I'm not really going to cover the sounds because, frankly, I can't be bothered. I don't really care enough. And like I said, I'm not going to cover any of the map updates because I suck at doing map update videos. But I am going to do videos on the new trucks. But that probably won't be till after Christmas. Though you'll get to see plenty of Cascadi as they're all over the place. Just like in real life, that one. I didn't realize when I accepted this load, the actual trailer was so far away. Wrong gear. So I don't know about anyone else, but with everything else going on this year, Christmas has really snuck up on me. Like, I only just got around to realizing that it's next week. I think what it is just so much other stuff that was coming out in December that I was excited for, that now it's finally, like, the last one was the new Grand Tour special, which came out yesterday. It was supposed to come out today, but it came out a day early. And I was so excited for that now that I've seen it, it's like, oh yeah, it's the middle of December. Like, that part wasn't really registering in my mind. Let's see, I don't know if I can go around that side of the building. So this is one of the completely new prefabs. It's pretty cool looking. Just kind of hop this curb. And lights. I love this trailer. Look at all the lights. It's great. I might save edit once I'm done. Well, no, see, once the event's over, the trailer will be gone, and I'm going to want to keep doing the actual event as long as I can. I was going to say I was going to save edit and use this as a regular flatbed, but I think I've changed my mind. Anyway. Pretty heavy, these gifts, by the way. I was running with Rainbow Spec last night and got pulled into a scale at one point. I was only just barely legal. It was like 77,000. Which I feel like, given the context, they'd maybe give you a special pardon for a little bit over the limit, but... Oh, one update that I could show you right now is with the new sound engine. Forgot the word. You can open the windows now. Both sides, driver's side and passenger side, if you press the right button. And I was too busy focusing on that. Good thing there was nobody coming. And the windows go back up, because I now cannot hear myself talk. And you'll see the buttons on the door actually do move and everything. The other nice thing with the sound engine update, and this is going to get a little technical for those of you who like save editing, is in the past, the engine output file and the engine sound file were separated. So I could have a Cummins engine in my Peterbilt, but have it sound, well, the sound you're hearing right now, like a Caterpillar. But that has been done away with the new way the engines are done, where the sound file is integrated into the engine file itself. So whatever type of engine you put in your truck, it'll sound like that type of engine. As opposed to each truck having its own sound, each engine now has its own sound. So this truck sounds like it has a cat in it because it has a cat in it, not because I gave it the Kenworth engine sound. Which is nice for save editing purposes. And just for, there are trucks that have different types of engines. If you have a 579 that you have a Packard, and it'll sound like a Packard. If you go switch it to a Cummins, then it'll sound like a Cummins. Well, roughly. We also have just about every American engine you can get, I believe, in the game now. Manufacturer-wise. So you've got the Cat with the W900 and the 389. We've got Cummins with the W900 and the 389, and, well, you can get a Cummins in pretty much anything. We've got Volvo engines with the Volvo, we got Mack engines with the Mack, and now we got Detroit engines with the Freightliner and the Western Star. Ooh, I'm going too fast. I'm going way too fast. Notice that as I get older, I'm getting worse at multitasking. I can't even talk and drive anymore. Also, my jake brake button is broken, so in instances like that, I legitimately just couldn't get the jake brake to turn off. I'm going to have to remap that. But yeah, so that's all very neat. Also, the horns sound better in my opinion. Oh, maybe not the horns I have on this truck. The square horns actually sound really good. I like the way those sound. Now, of course, the sound engine being updated also means that if you have any truck mods that haven't been updated since the 138 update, I think, the sound doesn't work. And if you have a truck that hasn't been updated for the 139 update, they actually updated to a newer version of the Fmod sound engine, which means all of the 138 mods don't work, or sound-wise. Which I will be making a video at some point on how to get around that, but by the time I get around to making that video, most of the trucks will probably have been updated. This will just be for if you have any really old mods that aren't still supported that you want to update yourself. Or if you're an aspiring mod maker trying to get their start, as I was / still am, sort of, it'll be helpful for that too. Keep in mind that I'm still not brilliant at coding. Pretty much everything I know I've figured out myself just through messing with the game. So I'm probably not the greatest authority on how to do these things, but I'll show you how to do things that I have trouble finding on the internet, because I can't find them anywhere on the internet. But yeah, so Colorado. It's a gorgeous state. But of course, every state they've added for the past 2 years about has been gorgeous. But each time they manage to pack more detail in, and just each state ends up looking better than the last. But they all look like similar quality, at least. Like, I could drive from Colorado through Utah into Idaho across to Oregon, and it'll all look like it came from the same game. But then go down into California, and it looks like it's a game from the mid-2010s, which it is. Wrong frickin' gear. So, If they could just... I honestly wouldn't even mind if they took a year, didn't make any new states, and I'm sure I'm the unpopular opinion in this, but didn't make any new states, but just went back and completely revamped California, Nevada, and Arizona to match the quality of the rest of the states. Because right now, I mean, I don't really like driving in California anyway because their laws are ridiculous. But right now, I especially don't like driving in California because it looks so bland next to everything else. I am speeding like a mofo. Like, if I had a run going from Oregon to Arizona, I would intentionally go around California and Nevada because they just look so crap in comparison to everything else. And I feel like that's a shame because California should be a very pretty state. Like Colorado is. I mean, it's still, the part I'm driving in right now is still just desert, but it feels like real desert more than California's, which feels more like game desert, in my opinion. Another thing they're getting good with the more recent updates, the more recent map updates, is making it feel much more explorable, more open. Sorry. That's a problem I've always had with STS games, is they feel very linear. You have the one path you can follow, and that's it. And all the other roads are kind of marked off. The old, like, Across America and those 18 Wheels of Steel games, some of the old ones, got around this by just only having roads that you can drive on. Which worked with the scale of those games, but with the way this game is scaled, that wouldn't really work. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But they're finding good ways of making it less obvious that you can't always go down certain roads. Instead of having a big blockade of X's across it, that road had just a simple gate. Which, looks real. Oh, speed limit is dropping quite badly. Probably paying attention to the driving bit of things. I need to save the talking for the multiplayer videos where I don't care about the speed limit and such. And then, of course, you got the small details, like this shop out in the middle of nowhere. Back in the days of even when ETS2 first came out, you had generic city-town thing, boring road with a little tiny bit of scenery going to it, usually a highway, and then another generic city-town thing. And that was pretty much it. You had a few landmarks every once in a while, but here you have these. Look at this mountain, and look at that. It all looks believable, and I'm sure real. I've heard from people who live out in these areas that a lot of the modern states look realistic. And then you have things like just some repair shop just out in the middle of nowhere, which you see a lot in the US. I don't know as much about Europe, but in the US you see that a lot. I mean, heck, where I live in real life will be considered in the middle of nowhere. And there you go, just some random dirt road probably going off to someone's house. Or it's some four-wheeler path across the mountain that you couldn't get across with a big truck. But I'm sure there are houses on that four-wheeler path. It would be cool to see more dirt roads that we actually had access to. Like, make them so tight that you couldn't get through them with a trailer. But if you take just your truck through them, you might just make it. That would be fun. But then also don't have them on the map. Have them be hidden roads. Which, there are also a decent number of hidden roads in this DLC. Altogether, Colorado feels very put together. And with the introduction in Idaho of viewpoints, which I'm sure I'll show on camera at some point, but if you don't already know about them, they're just little points of interest around the map you can find that it gives you cinematic views of the area. And that means the map has to be more fleshed out. There can't be, because they're showing you official in-game footage of these areas, there can't be holes in the world that you wouldn't be able to see from the road, because now you're not seeing it from the road, which also helps to make it feel a bit more fleshed out. Need to figure out what's wrong with my accelerator. But yeah, I think this game is really starting to come into its own. Now that it's got a decent-sized map, it's got a okay number of trucks. You know, we have all the manufacturers at this point, at least. I wouldn't say it has a decent number of trucks until we get 2 from each manufacturer. But, once again, at least we have every manufacturer. That's a good topic of conversation. How about truck wish list? You can comment yours in the comments. I'd love to know. I want to see how many other people want the same trucks I do. Focusing on manufacturers that we only have 1 truck from currently, I'd like the Pinnacle from Mack. The new Pinnacle looks awesome. From International, I'd really like the MX. Or even if they could just do the 9900, but I don't think that'll happen. So I'll settle for the MX, which once again looks awesome. For Freightliner, it will be the 122 SD, the replacement for the Coronado. Should have gotten on the Jake a little sooner. And then for Volvo, I'd really like the VHD, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'd settle for the VNR. Is that all of them? Oh, Western Star, the 5700. Now, that's what I'd like to get. What I think we'll actually get differs a little bit. I'm pretty sure we'll get the LT from International. I feel like it's possible we might still get the old-gen Cascadia, because they had already rendered it, and they might still be working on trying to get the license for it, even though it's not made anymore. We'll probably get the new-gen VNL, or the current-gen VNL. And honestly, from Western Star, I feel like the 5700 is a pretty good bet. I mean, that doesn't mean we won't get the trucks that I want as well. But I think probably the next truck from International will be the LT. The next truck from Volvo will be the new VNL. Mack, I don't really know what other hugely popular road trucks they have other than the Pinnacle and the Anthem, so I'd say probably the Pinnacle will be the next truck from Mack anyway. Yeah, it would be cool to know what you guys think, what you'd like the next truck to be, and what you think the next truck will be. As far as the actual next truck to be added, That's kind of a tough one. I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm really gunning for the old gen Coronado. I mean, not Coronado, Cascadia. Like I said, they already did have a 3D rendering in the works. And I noticed that the Cascadia that we got recently in the code is Freightliner Cascadia 2019 instead of just Freightliner Cascadia. That makes me feel like they're still working on having another Cascadia, which would be the old gen one, which is the one I prefer anyway. So I'm going to say right now that I think, without any further information, that that'll be the next truck. I think a close second will be the International LT. As far as PACCAR goes, I'd really like to see the Kenworth W990 and the Peterbilt 567. The W990, I'm pretty sure, is probably going to happen at some point in time. It wouldn't make sense for it not to, because I probably want to be in the other lane. But the 567, I'm not so sure about, on account of it basically just being a 579 with a different front end. The other interesting thing that's now on the table, though, is tuning packs. People have been asking for tuning packs, mostly for the Peterbilts and Kenworths and Volvo. Pretty much since the first tuning pack for ETS2 came out. And the CEO of SCS has been saying, or director, manager, I don't know who it is, but someone high up in SCS had been saying they're going to hold off on doing tuning packs until they have more trucks in the game. Well, recently, the cabin accessories pack came out for ATS, and was updated for ETS2 yesterday, actually. And that means that whoever it was that was saying that, be it the CEO or some director or whatever, thinks they have enough trucks in the game at this point that they can start working on tuning packs, which is very exciting. I'm hoping, bigger stacks, some more headlight styles for this truck. Hood ornaments need to be a must. You've got to be able to put hood ornaments on your trucks, I think. Any truck can look good with the right hood ornament. More bug shield options, more sun visors. I'd really like to see bumper guides, but I don't think we will because they're not as popular as they used to be. But yeah, I think that... I'm not going to say I think we'll get a tuning pack in 2021, but I think it's possible that we might, and I'd be very happy to see one. And of course, this also means that they might start developing more paint job packs. Which is still cool, don't get me wrong. We need more packs like the classic Stripes paint job pack, where they're all modifiable and such. Can just barely see this light. Oh. Getting close to the $1 million highway now. And of course, it's also getting dark. I cannot manage to drive this frickin' road in the night. I don't know what that's all about. I set the time for 10 o'clock in the morning before I started recording. I'm thinking I should have set it a little bit earlier. Alright, so their left turn should go, and then it should be our green. So their straight is going red. Their left turn goes green. Left turn is yellow. Yes. It's nice, there are pretty much only 2 traffic patterns throughout the whole game. One, the left turn lane goes first, the other, the left turn lane goes last. So if you figure out which of those 2 cycles you're sitting at, you can pretty much figure out when your light's going to change. I'm going to hit a curb if I'm not careful. More horses? Oh, more horses. Watch for rocks and wildlife. Scare all the wildlife away with my jake brake. I love this little town, by the way. It reminds me of a town in Burnout 3. There's the one... It's called like Whitewater Canyon or something, the one area that has a town that looks near identical to this. And I'm wondering if it's based on this town, whatever the real life location of this town is. And thus begins the $1 Million Highway. I think, rather unintentionally, I've driven on this road more than any other in Colorado so far. And just for the heck of it, here's a watch point. This video is already longer than I necessarily wanted it to be, so why not make it a little bit longer, I guess. I mean, it's a good... I feel like it's good to have a long video when you come back from a hiatus, as I have. So this is what a viewpoint is. Should have left the electricity on so the trail would have been lit up. Or left the ignition on, rather. But see, like, they had to flesh out this whole town because you're going to see it from the watch point. How about this sense of scale, though, as well? That's one thing I saw a lot of people complain about in this game, is the mountains didn't really feel like mountains, they more felt like large hills. I kind of feel like these kind of feel like mountains. That's some scale right there. That's it. Some of them are longer than others. So it's Switzerland of America. I can see that. I don't know if I just have my track IR set up in a weird way or what, but I have a lot of trouble trying to look out the window. Like, if I lean my head down like I'm looking under the dashboard, it sticks the head out the window. Immediately going too fast. It's annoying this road, because on the straight bits I want to go fast, and then I fall over on the corners. But I can't just set the cruise control, because some of the corners are sharp enough that I need to actually slow down below 25 for them. Which shuts off the cruise control anyway. Yeah. How's that for a big mountain? I don't know, it feels pretty big to me anyway. So I guess people that have actually traveled this highway in real life might still come on and say, well, it's not tall enough. Okay, the spectacle is there for people who haven't driven through here in real life, so that's good enough to me. You know, the thing to keep in mind is that this all is still scaled. This is when I wish Truckers MP allowed riding with someone else, so I could have Rainbow Spec drive through here while I just look at the scenery. And you'll hear that the sound changes when you go under. It's actually when the camera goes under covers, not when the truck does. So in first person it sounds fine, but when you're in third person, it sometimes is the sound changes in the wrong place. Some incredibly fun roads to drive on when you're not trying to show that you actually know what you're doing, by the way. Oh, but this would be great to turn the stability sliders all the way up, get on the arcade server and multiplayer, and just race some trucks down. Now, this area is neat. Especially this little pull-off. All these signs you see here, if you get up close to them, you can actually read them. And they have information about the mining sites around here, and all sorts of stuff like that. I'm not going to show them right now, because as I said, this video is already really long. But there is some cool information to be gotten from this road as well. Which, it all brings together the reason I love road tripping in the first place. This game is becoming a very good road tripping game, which is what it should be. They're doing a very good job of trying to encompass the incredibleness of crossing a continent. Once you can go from coast to coast and watch the scenery change as you do, that'll be great. And by the time they get through doing all that, I'll probably have been in most of the states that are in the game, so I can tell you how legit they are. I know I went up one road, I don't remember where it is now, but it's somewhere in Colorado, that I had just happened to recently watch a video of a driver going up it in real life. And I recognized the area because I just watched that video, so that was cool. That's not the runaway truck ramp I was thinking of. Jakebird Quiche really comes into its own through this bit. I believe the speed limit goes all the way down, yeah, 35. Alright. What they really need to do is take another look at the AI. I hate it when they do that. Stop halfway through a turn because the light went yellow. Oops. Yeah, I've been through this intersection a few times at this point. I never noticed that tram track there. They also need to recalibrate the random parking. It gives you easy more often than anything else, and it's kind of annoying. Alright, and there you have it. That'll be the third Christmas load delivered for me. And an hour-long video saying, hello, I'm back, and I'm still playing ATS. And interestingly enough, ending the night the same place I did last night. Or ending the video the same place I stopped driving last night. I totally screwed up talking about that. Let's see, is there anywhere that I can park? Right there looks good. There. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And just one more reminder that on February 3rd I will be changing the channel name to Whitetail. So if you suddenly are subscribed to a channel called Whitetail, it's me. And with it will be new profile pictures, new intro, new truck. Altivo is still probably going to appear every once in a while, but not so frequently. I've got another truck made up for quote-unquote lighttail. And I'll probably just, more often than not, be driving whatever truck I feel like driving. But for videos like this, I do have a truck made up. Anyway, that's all for the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please tell me what you thought. I'd really like to see people weighing in on some of the things we talked about in the video, like what the next truck might be, or what the first truck is you'd like to see a tuning pack for. Personally, I'd like it to be a 389, because I feel like this truck has a lot of potential that just isn't there yet. Mostly, I just want to be able to put taller smokestacks on it. But until next time, thank you for watching, and keep the hammer down, drivers.